Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bokeh Mocha. I'm Christopher and this is Griff, and we are here for another Photoshop Lightroom episode. Just because last week's episode we didn't feel like we were able to touch everything we wanted to.
Or, well, last week's episode was more of an overview on like this is how like dialing in your camera settings can, make your life a little bit easier, and then a couple of things that you can do if you didn't quite get it correct in your initial shoot. But I think this one we're going to go into a little bit more on I messed up.
the technical mess ups.
Yep, exactly. So, and we'll kind of show you guys a couple of things that that cannot be fixed in Lightroom.
Yes.
And give you some ideas. This is basically an episode of what not to do.
There you go.
So,
there you go.
Yeah.
I think we've got some tech stuff going.
No, that's all right.
Gotta love our tech stuff.
Yeah, we'll do it live.
Now, when we work with these pictures that we've got, you picked two pictures that you've personally taken again. That
I am putting myself out there that I that I am sometimes incompetent.
Wait, you're human?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I didn't know that. I can't tell you how, but we were actually just talking a little while ago about how much memory space that we have, and I've got over 6 terabytes of data between videos and pictures. I can tell you right now, very confidently, maybe 30% of that is actually usable. The other 70% was either test shots or it didn't quite work. We had to reshoot, but we still keep it because there's still a possibility of using it. Like we talked about last week, that picture I took where the background was completely out of focus. It can still be used for a different project. It's kind of, I guess, the hoarding of
resources. Hoarding of resources. Yeah.
But so these two shots you have, you actually still had them just in your portfolio of things that you want to do. So we really wanted to show, again, it can be used now for a teaching portion here. But some of the things we talked about before, AI has limitations, Photoshop has limitations, Lightroom has limitations. We've got a point where we hit that brick wall, and any photographer out there knows that if you hit that brick wall, you're going to have to try and overcome it somehow. And it could even be the difference between getting the picture that you need for your client or not having the right picture for your client.
Yeah. The way that I would probably, a good analogy for this is that do musicians record every single practice? There are some that do, but you're not going to see anything other than the finished product. Every shot that we take is basically practice in that regard, and the reason why, like, sometimes, like, especially for me on my photography journey, starting out, there would be a lot of times where it's like, what am I doing? Am I this bad at this? But like, because it felt like for every like 10 shots of like garbage, there would be one glowing one that I'm like, okay, I got something here, kind of thing.
Well, that's the nice thing about being in the film era, or the digital era.
Yeah.
Back in the film era, we had 24 shots. If we were really lucky, we had 30 shots on a roll.
Yeah.
But we had 24 shots, and if you had the 24 shots and got one right, that was great.
Yep.
But in the digital era, we can take 1,000 shots and get that one. But learning from what we did with the exposure triangle, learning the Photoshop skills now, we can increase that from, as you said, 1 in 10 to more like 5 out of 10 can be usable shots. And we can be able to get a little bit more out of our time and be able to get our recoup of our costs, essentially.
And that would be what I would say how you would gauge your photography journey is think about how many bad shots you've taken to get that one good shot, and then compare it a year later. That number should have gone down.
Oh yeah.
And it probably has. Realistically speaking, it has.
When I first started out, I think I was 1 out of 20 is what mine was. And it was back during the film era, so it was 1 out of a roll that was good. And of course, we didn't know it until after we got them developed. And then now I think consistently I'm 3 out of 10. on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to get better. I mean, I definitely do not say that I am 100% expert. I'm still learning. We're learning Lightroom. There's things that you showed on Lightroom I didn't even know it did. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Why did I do that? So even though I've been taking pictures for 20 years, I still have so much to learn.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why we do this. We collaborate with other people in our industry so that we can be able to get more knowledge and grow as we go.
Yeah. And that is probably the best advice that I could give anybody is just like, it's our mantra, keep shooting, keep sharing.
Yes.
Like, do not let that stop you, kind of thing. Like, whenever I go out on nature walks and whatnot, there are times where I'm just not feeling the photography spirit kind of thing. But I still go out and shoot things just because I know, even if it's just going to be like a, hey, look, Griff took another picture of a beautiful sunset kind of thing. That's nice. Good for you, Griff, kind of thing. But for me, it's also like just
Attaboy.
good job. And that's. But at the same time, though, even just taking those simple shots is practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Practice makes perfect. Speaking of practice, I think we're going to practice our ability to go to a commercial.
Yeah.
And then we're going to come back, and I think you've got a moon.
Yep, we've got a moon shot.
And
don't judge me.
Everyone does the moon shots. And we're going to go into that and see what we can, not do on taking a photo right after these commercial breaks. Welcome back to Boca Moka. We're here on our next segment. We're going to talk about some pictures that we've taken that are just not good. We want to get a little bit onto the editing there.
This is an exercise in humility.
Now, one of the things I want to bring up, we're going to see a moon picture. Can you tell us some of the settings that you used on this moon picture?
Let me find it.
What was your focal length or?
All right. So focal length was at 8, and I actually did a long exposure on this one, a 1 second exposure.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And I think my ISO, I just went ahead and set it for automatic at this point.
So your focal length is not 8. It's your f-stop.
Or my f-stop is at 8, yeah.
Do you know what lens you used?
That was on my 100 to 400 kind of thing.
So your focal length would have been probably 400 maxed out.
Yep, exactly.
Because I was going to say, your shot is really close to the moon. And you've got a good setup there. But so your f-stop is an 8. You're at 1 second. So you got a lot of light coming into the lens.
Exactly. And that's what I was kind of going for. So if you couldn't tell from this blown out highlight, this was actually a crescent moon that I was trying to capture. And instead, I ended up getting the whole moon with the blown out highlights. And I think this is why I try to err on underexposing than overexposing. If you underexpose, yes, you're going to have a little bit of noise, but the detail is still there. But overexposing, blowing out your highlights, there is nothing there. The camera does not recognize a thing in that white spot.
Yeah. Anything that is dark can still have its data. Anything that's white has no color. Or rephrase it, white has all the color, which means there is no separation. Black has absence of color, which means you can still pull details out.
Now, let me go ahead and give you an example and what we're talking about here. I am going to bring my exposure all the way down and watch how that blown out highlight does not change at all.
Yep.
That's just dead pixels.
Yep.
Right there. Honestly, though, that's kind of cool, though. I'm not going to lie.
It is kind of cool. It almost looks like it's a sad face with a single eye. What is that, Jupiter next to it?
That's Venus.
Venus.
Venus, that's right next to it. So that's what I wanted to try and go for, was because it was one of those moments where like Venus was like right next to a crescent moon. I'm like, oh, there we go, kind of thing.
See, this is why photographers that do astrophotography, like myself, we do... we do stacked images. So we take 7 shots of the same deal. We start with 3 stops underexposed and take our bracketed shots all the way to 3 steps overexposed. So for the back part of the moon, we would have a good exposure,
Mhm.
but yet our underexposed image would give us the detail we would need to
Yep.
keep on the crescent moon.
Now, just to showcase that I know how to take a picture of a moon now.
Right? Right? Well, that's still a really good shot, but it changes how much light you have
Mhm.
because you went from a crescent
Mhm.
to a quarter.
Yep.
Or half, depending on
Yeah.
which one that people talk about.
Still taken with the 400.
Oh,
The
look, you
100
can see Apollo. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, still taken with the 100 to 400 there, and then
Mhm.
cropped in and everything. And I mean, like that detail that
Oh,
I
yeah.
was able to capture with that there. And I think those two shots were maybe taken a couple months apart.
Yep.
That's just how much. Because this was taken. Where's the date? That's taken February. And then that other one was taken in March.
And just to show that in
Yeah.
just a 30 days time frame,
Yep.
a little over 30 days time
Yep.
frame, you were able to advance your understanding on how to photograph a single subject in a very short time.
Mhm.
Exactly what we say, practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
So what could we do to this picture to be able to try and salvage it?
Well, I mean, like, I'll be completely honest. Like, you could go the artistic route and do like what we did here, where we just kind of bring back all of that exposure and just make it that kind of thing. I mean, it's very boring, it's very basic, but at the same time, though, there could be like some artistic compellingness on this here. But I'll be completely honest, that's the only thing that I can really think of, other than like bringing that exposure up and maybe just like embracing those blown out highlights as well too. I mean, that could be something that we can do. But I know like bringing down the whites is not going to take care of that, because those pixels,
no data.
Those pixels are just gone.
White. Yep.
Kind of thing. And it's just like you're basically looking at a negative on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we can't touch those at all. Kind of thing.
Now, one of the things that I could be able to see for this picture, not just being able to use it for an education perspective of what we're doing here, but also being able to actually use it if you took this and you took your masking tool and you just selected your white bright spot.
Oh, that's going to select the moon instead. All right. So, if we use like the brush or something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to shrink it down, though, so that way I can make sure that all I'm hitting is just that white spot there.
Yeah. And close enough for this example. This is great.
Yeah. I can draw between the lines.
There you go.
There we go.
Now we can take our exposure on this one, and when we go to our light, we just go to whites, bring our whites down. Now what it's done is it's made that not as harsh. And now we take our exposure and bring our exposure down just slightly. Now you can see the difference between where you selected the moon and this point.
Yeah.
We've brought the intensity down. That is one of the things that we could do. We will never be able to get the detail back. We will never be able to get rid of the blown out white.
Yep.
But we can lessen it slightly so that it's not as popped in your face. But your image it's a good concept starting point.
Yeah.
When I did my star trails, there's a picture on the studio wall here. It was my third outing that I took on those star trails. My first two ended up stuff like this.
Yep.
They were just completely blown out. My third trip took me 2 months between my first trip and my third trip before I was able to get the concept of star trails.
Now, Lightroom does have generative AI.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm curious, and I'm gonna have to turn on cellular data for this one, unfortunately, because I'm not paying for an unlimited plan, unfortunately. But let's just go ahead and do a heal just to kind of see what this can do to this. This is what we can see with AI.
Oh,
beautiful.
Perfect. I think that's excellent. AI nailed it.
The man on the moon has an Abe Lincoln beard.
Whoops.
Nailed it.
Now, for some of our viewers, they might say, well, if you didn't edit it 1st and then did the AI, it would work.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's test that theory then. Hold on, because I can go back to my original like that.
Yep.
Then go into the same thing. We're going to zoom in. There we go. And we're even going to decrease our size so that way we're not accidentally bleeding over onto the rest of the moon. And as much anyway.
Yeah.
And
boop. Yep.
Yeah.
This is why AI is still very early in its stages. We talked about before, one of the things that we could do is we could utilize what's called a spot healing brush, which we won't get into on this episode.
Yeah.
But a spot healing brush, we can be able to take the pixels that are next to it and clone stamp it down each one. But
actually, there is kind of a version of that. Give me a second here. Because what we could do, feasibly speaking, is maybe even just remove that little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of blends it just a little bit there. little finger smudge kind of thing. It's like the moon if we somebody took like the painting of a moon and just kind of finger smudged it.
And now that could be something too. You could take the entire moon and just do that, and it will look like a smudge. You're gonna just draw the whole thing.
Let's see what happens. We're throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks.
Live on our podcast.
Exactly. So let's just go ahead and just bleed all of this in here.
I'll laugh if it deletes the moon.
Yeah.
It deleted them.
The moon's just gone, everybody.
It literally looks like we imploded the moon.
Lo unto me, for I am death, and I have destroyed the moon. Anyway.
Well, tides are gone.
Yep. All right.
This is one of those things of why we can experiment with our images to be able to see what we can do with them to salvage them.
But realistically speaking, like this one probably is just going to be a wash.
No.
Plain and simple.
Now, the next image that you have, I believe we already referenced this image on a previous one of you were taking a picture of a bird.
Well, I was taking a picture of a landscape. And then as I turned after taking my camera off of its tripod, I make eye contact with an owl, and then it starts flying away, and it's either shoot it now or you end up just not getting it at all. So, but we'll take a look at that one on the next segment.
Yeah, so on the next segment, we'll get to look into that one and really get to see how that goes for fixing that, because that one's a little more salvageable than this one.
It is.
So we'll see you guys on the next segment of Boca Moka.
Welcome back to the Boca Moka podcast. We are going to be taking a look at now something that you can salvage. Ish kind of thing. It still could have been better. But we've made reference to it a couple of times on this podcast there, where I got an owl shot while I was doing a landscape shot, and my camera was set up for landscape, and when I made eye contact with this owl, it started to fly away, and it was one of those quick moments where I was like, I got to take the shot, or else I'm gonna miss it, because it was. I mean, it's like one of the slowest avian birds, but it still flies away really, really quickly.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing. So,
and it's always when you're not prepared for it. Like when we were out at Frontier Park, we did that little tag scene at the end of our episode, because as we packed everything up, we're literally pulling the wagon to go to our next shoot location, and this blue heron just comes and lands right on the waterfall that we were right next to. And we're watching it. We grabbed our cameras real quick. Thankfully, I had my wonderful 600 millimeter lens.
We didn't grab our cameras real quick. We were like unzipping really, really slowly and pulling.
We didn't want them to fly away, but then I went and staged up on the bridge. You went down, and we still got some great shots of those. My trusted 600 millimeter lens allows me to reach out and touch things a lot easier than a 400.
Heck, I mean, I could probably even pull those up here real quick because it's all on. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the shots that we managed to grab here. If we want to, there we go. Yeah, look at that. Look at that majestic beast.
Oh yeah.
These are just my shots.
Yep.
You know, that one definitely is.
That one's phenomenal.
I know, right? And the fact that like you got that fish in its beak and everything. So, and then like just catching the detail of the of the plume feathers and whatnot. I mean, it's just great. But we might want to switch back over to us here real quick. There we go. Because
now for anyone who hasn't actually seen that episode, that was our first episode that we went out and did a remote recording. And that was 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So I believe that was episode 9 that we had on there. So if you haven't seen it yet, go watch episode 9. And at the tail end of episode 9, after the credits, we actually have both Griff's pictures and my pictures that we edited from that. What's really amazing is to see the difference between our style. We took the exact same subject at the exact same time, doing the exact same thing. And the way we took our pictures are completely different. But you've got the owl.
The infamous owl pick.
Yes.
Yeah. My first ever owl pick that I managed to get. And actually, I can pull up my settings here real quick. Yeah, I was 1/100 because I was doing a landscape. I was going for a longer exposure.
So you're definitely going a little slower, get a little added motion to it.
And I was going F11 because I was doing a landscape. Doing a landscape shot. In fact, this was the landscape that I was doing.
That looks great. Perfectly exposed. Everything looks phenomenal.
Exactly. But then I turn around and there's this owl that's just like kind of hanging out on this little fence post right here. And yeah, I just kind of just quickly like grabbed my camera and just started shooting and whatnot. So, yeah, basically what I did with this one to get it to where I was happy at least. First of all, we're gonna crop it in. Even though this is taken on my zoom lens, it was already flying that far away that my 400 wasn't cutting it anymore, kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and crop in like this. And the problem is, though, is that if I try to crop in a little bit too much, that blur really stands out with it.
Well, and that's also because of the fact of how many megapixels per inch you have.
As well.
Your camera is a full frame camera. What's your megapixel rate? Do you remember?
24. Okay. 21.
21?
Yeah.
Okay. When you get, and you're cropping in this tight, you're going to not just get the blur, you're going to get the megapixel blur out of it as well.
Exactly.
So that's one
so
of
you
the
have to find
why
like
people like to use the 600mm lens or a doubler if someone has that.
Yep. So you have to find like that happy little medium where it's like you can tell that it's an owl and it's the focus of this, but you don't want to go too far in, because if you go too far in, then that's
there's your pixelation right there.
Exactly, kind of thing. So, and like
I was taking on a camera back in the 2005, 2006 era. That's what that looked like.
Exactly.
So back when we were 3 megapixels.
So this is a crop that I can probably be happy with here. Then I mean, it was shot. It was still daylight. I mean, like it was still around sunset and whatnot, but we were still in the middle of golden hour, so we're gonna make that my exposure. And then probably what I'm gonna want to do is I'm gonna try and start with like a high contrast shot there. That already makes it pop a little bit more. Yep. Now, here's the thing that I've learned in photography: shadows and highlights do not change what you think they do.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're not bringing out the shadows and the highlights. You're changing the space between the pixels.
Yep.
When you're doing this. So if I bring up my shadows, I'm shrinking the spacing between those pixels. If I bring them down, then I'm increasing the spacing between those pixels.
Yep.
That was one of those mind-blowing moments that I did not realize when I was first starting photography. Because I thought it was just like, I'm just raising the exposure on perceived shadow. No.
Nope.
Kind of thing. So if
you're introducing data into the pixels.
Exactly. And when I heard that, that completely changed how I approach shadows and highlights.
What's very interesting from what I was learning from people, you have what's called soft edit modes and hard edit modes. Your soft edit modes, which is going to be your exposure, your contrast, your color correction, those things, they don't add or delete data from your pixels themselves. Then you've got your hard modes, which is pretty much everything else in Photoshop. And they're manipulating the data in that pixel to the point where you're getting that. Like if you went to detail, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. And you go to sharpening on your detail. If you bring that sharpening up, what you're actually doing is you're cutting off the edges of your pixels. But if we zoom into your owl, you can see it's no longer pixelated, but it still doesn't look right.
Yeah. The other thing too is that you can do with like a noise reduction as well too. Noise reduction in that previous segment when we talked about like that blend tool, that's basically what noise reduction does. I can get away with a little bit of noise reduction on my camera, but not a whole lot. Like that's only at 25 and we're already, way in there.
Well, you also have the sharpening on there too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Let's bring that back down to where it was supposed to be.
About there.
Yep, give or take.
Yep.
But
still,
it's
not as drastic, but your noise reduction still does that.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So let's go ahead and like kind of show you like contrast to it versus that's no noise reduction, and then let's really crank up the noise reduction. So now my detail is just completely gone. In a way. Yep. So,
and that's one of the things of it's creating or taking away data points.
Yep. I mean, I don't subscribe to astrology, but I am a Libra, and it's all about finding balance. Like splitting those two extremes to find the one that works a little bit.
And then there's other programs out there, like I believe Topaz, that advertise a lot about they're doing the exact same tools as what we're doing here in Lightroom and Photoshop. It just does it as an AI version that just focuses on those. So some people like them. I tried it out. I preferred to still run my stuff through Photoshop and everything.
We do have a little bit of a opportunity here real quick. Let's see what AI healing is going to do to my wonderful owl here.
Erases it. AI says owls no longer exist.
The technology of the future. Anyway,
I love it.
Like I said,
it thinks it's a blur.
Well, you and I have talked about AI, but not on podcasts though, too, where it's like using AI for like the data crunching.
Yes.
The like on a business perspective, using AI for like organizing my calendar because I'm awful at it. Stuff like that.
Analytical tasks, very much binary ones and zeros. It has no issue with. Creative side, there's a long way to go.
Yep.
But no, I'm like for me, we talked about last episode. You have a certified no AI in your system. All of my products are no AI. I don't put AI in. I don't even really use AI to both say remove an object. I'm so used to doing it myself, using the spot healing brush and all those. I'm still doing it myself, pulling pixels from another portion of the image and bring it down. Yes, that's one of the things that AI does, but I'm so used to doing it on my own. I just do it all on my own. And there's a time and place for it. I typically use it on just the number crunching side of things. One of the things I know we're getting close to the end of our time, an advantage that we could use AI for. Some things like Gemini has the nano banana concept with it. There's image creators that they have. What people don't realize is you can actually do reverse with it. So you can actually go to Gemini, take one of your pictures, and if you think maybe your picture was stolen, you could say, search the internet and find this image. And it will use the AI to find your image And you can then determine if someone actually stole your image or not by what it does, by what it can find. Also, I use it for evaluations. I go and I edit my image, and I go to it and say, is this edit, I'm trying to go for a warm edit. Did I meet this criteria? It can tell me if I did or not, but I don't use it to then edit the image. But it's a great evaluation tool.
There is a street photographer named Sean Tucker who has a video on YouTube right now, and it's one of my favorites, where he actually uses he did a test on AI to have it critique his work, kind of thing. That's a bucket list for me, is that if we could get Sean Tucker on here, because he's an incredible street photographer. He also lives over in Scotland, so I don't know how we're going to do that.
We have Zoom.
But yeah, that would be incredible to be able to talk to him and pick his brain a little bit. But yeah.
I think we have a lot of those bucket lists.
That's true.
And if you guys know anybody who you want to have on our podcast, or know anybody who would like to be on our podcast, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and be able to then share this with them. And we'd love to have people on as guests and get people more knowledge out there, the better. I mean, that's what we're out here for.
Yeah.
So,
but that's of course a little bit more nitty gritty on stuff that you can do in Lightroom. And again, feel free to ask your questions, email them to us, leave them in the comments. We do look at comments, we do look at feedback and stuff like that. And until next time, keep shooting, keep sharing.
Absolutely.